Alrighty, we are here with Markus Heitkoetter. Have I said your name correctly?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Amazing. Look, Markus, it's really nice to be with you today because you've been trading for a long time. How long have you been trading for? Just so I get it exactly right.
Oh my gosh, I can't even remember because my first trade I did in high school. I was a senior in high school and this was 1989. And I was fascinated by trading. I read a book by Andrea Costolani, who was in Europe, somebody like Warren Buffett right now in the US, so famous investor. And I thought, I want to become a trader. And this was 1989, where we didn't have any online brokerages, right? So the only way how you could open a brokerage account was through a bank, because originally I'm from Germany. And when you wanted to open an account, a brokerage account with a bank, you go to Deutsche Bank. And that's what I did in 1989. So I went to Deutsche Bank, met with a banker and said, I want to open a trading account. And he said, well, Markus, how much money do you want to put in the trading account? I said, all the money that I have, that is 50 Deutschmarks. That's like $50, right? He said, I can't do this.
Were you beating your chest at the same time?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. And anyhow, I convinced him to really, please open an account for me. And so he did. And as soon as we opened the account, he said, well, Markus, now that the account is open, what stock would you like to buy? I thought, didn't think about this. So I asked him, what stock can I buy for 50 Deutschmark? Great way to pick a stock, right? Anyhow, he said, well, the stock that is trading around 50 Deutschmark right now is VW, Volkswagen, the car manufacturer, right? So I said, okay, let's buy one share of VW. So he did it for me. So the next morning I had to go back to school. Again, I was senior in school, but I was so excited. So during the first recess break, I ran to a payphone. I mean, that's 1989. We didn't have any phones or devices like this, right? I inserted my 20 cents. I called the banker and I said, how are we doing? And he said, well, Markus, the stock is up this morning to $50.20. And I thought, yes, this is working really well. So during the second recess break, I called him again and said, how are we doing? He said, well, we're now up to 50 Deutschmark and 30 cents. I said, yes. And then as soon as I got home, we had these rotary phones. You're way too young to remember this, but there were these rotary phones. And so I called the banker again and I said, where did we close? And he said, well, we closed at 50 Deutschmark and 60 cents. And I was so happy that I'm making money with trading. So the next morning, the same thing. I called him during the first recess break, during the second recess break, and also as soon as I got home from school. Now, on the third day and my seventh call to the banker, he said, Markus, we got to talk. How much money are you trying to make with this stock? And I thought about it and I thought, my gosh, I invested 50 Deutschmark. If I can make 10 Deutschmark, that would be 20%. That would be pretty good, right? So I told him, okay, I want to make 10 Deutschmark. And he said, done. Come to my office, I'll give you the 10 Deutschmark and stop calling me. So that was my first profitable trade. But this is where I realized that this is probably not a sustainable trading strategy. And I also realized that my account was underfunded. So this is where I went to college and got a job, did the whole 9 yards. But yeah, my first trade in 1989, that's now, what is it? Oh, way too long ago.
It's almost 25 years ago, or 35 years almost. Wow, Jesus. That's a long time. So I want to relate a quick story. So I don't know if you know much about the crypto world and what's happening with deflationary tokens, but there's this token that came out recently called SafeMoon, which went from zero to like, I don't know, $7 billion market cap in 45 days or something ridiculous. And I had a kid that I know call me up. He must be, I don't know, he just turned 13, maybe he's 14 now. Calls me up, he's like, Jeremy, I want to buy some SafeMoon. I've got my bar mitzvah money. You know, what can you do? Can you help me out? I said, look, no, I'm not going to take your money and go and buy this thing because I think that you're getting in on a parabolic arc. And usually that, you know, when everyone's talking about something, it doesn't go so well. So I said, look, I'm just going to buy you my own money, $10 worth of it and see how you go. So exactly the same thing happened. He called me up the next morning. He called me up at lunchtime. He had a mobile phone, so he was calling me up from school. And it was very similar kind of approach. So I said to him, look, I'm not your personal banker. It's in there. You know how to check the blockchain now. I've showed you how to do it. It's all yours to work out how it is. I haven't seen how it's going so far, but I have a feeling it might teach him hopefully a sensible lesson about getting into something, you know, the top of an arc. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I think it is a great time right now because it is so easy to get started with trading. When I started trading, commissions alone were $40, right? I mean, these days, commissions are basically free. I mean, maybe you're paying a few cents, but and it's very easy for everybody to open an account. So, I mean, it's a blessing in disguise, right? Because on the one hand, it's great. On the other hand, yes, you have everybody and his grandmother coming into the markets, not necessarily knowing what they're doing. And because you don't need a driver's license or something like a driver's license to trade the markets, right? So this is kind of scary. And I'm glad that you are out there and saying, you know what, we're changing this. We're providing education. So we're not doing the typical YOLO, you only live once, right? Everything into a blockchain will show you how to do it in a responsible way.
100%. And that's why I really find it fascinating to interview trading educators like yourself to, first of all, get some free tips for myself. But also 100%, it's so important. We talk about it a lot on our Discord, which is a place where we hang out with our clients and talk about the markets. But that's exactly it. We were talking the other day where you're either a trader or a gambler, like on both sides of the equation. There was like big conversations about, is all trading gambling? But the idea is, you know, for what we've seen, unless you're taking risk adjusted trades in the market and you've got a strategy behind it and you're journaling, you're treating it like a business. Anyone that's just FOMOing in, like we were talking about, when they hear from someone else and they hear on mainstream media, usually too late. And you're not really trading, are you? You're just kind of jumping in on hopes and dreams and trying to catch the next wave. And what happens? You get on the top and then it comes back down. Then you get out and you chase the next silver bullet. So I'm looking forward to hearing a few more tips from you about how that all works. So maybe we can start off and let us know a bit about, I mean, we've heard the initial part of your trading journey. I'd love to know, don't take 10 minutes if you want, it's up to you, however it works, but just let us know kind of your journey of how it got you to the place where now you're able to teach other people. And from what I understand, you've been doing this a long time, and especially on YouTube as well. You're really very prolific and you love putting content out there, and you got a lot of energy. So I'm looking forward to hearing a bit more about your journey of what led you to where you are now.
You see, in the beginning of my trading career, I did what most people do, trying to follow the news, right? I mean, this is where you look at TV or you're trying to go into forums and you try to find the next big thing, because as a trader, that is the dream, that is the goal, right? To hit it, to buy Bitcoin at $1 and then ride it all the way to $62,000. Wouldn't that be great? But you see, this is where in the beginning I was chasing this dream until I realized that doesn't work, because what happened is that most of the time I got in at the top when everybody was talking about it. And this is when I realized the reason why everybody is talking about it, because they want to hype it up so that the big institutions can dump their positions onto the retail trader. So this is where at some point I decided, you know what? I would like to know how to read a chart, because I had this mantra: trade what you see, not what you think. In fact, I have it on my mug. You see, this is where I have it in front of me every day so that I don't trade what I think, because I'm not that smart. Whatever I think doesn't work, doesn't really matter. So this is where I started studying indicators. And at first I was reading the big book of indicators, and I learned about 160 indicators. And this is where I thought, you know what? More is better. So I had so many indicators on my chart that I couldn't really see the prices anymore. And they were all conflicting. Half of the indicators were telling buy and the other half was yelling sell. So I was completely confused and didn't know what to do. So listening to the news doesn't work. Listening to the smart guys on TV didn't work at all. Looking at indicators didn't work because there were too many. And this is where I just realized, you know what, I can keep it simple. Is it okay if I share my screen and show a little bit of my setup?
That'd be amazing.
Okay, so let's do this. Let me quickly share my screen. Here we go. So you should see my charting platform, which is TradingView. And I know that you're supporting TradingView as well, right?
We are, yes. You can start trading through Global Prime on TradingView. But do go on.
Fantastic. So what I'm looking at is three indicators that I have at the bottom here. And the first indicator that I have here is the RSI, the Relative Strength Indicator. Has been developed by Wells Weider in the 70s and is supposed to show you overbought and oversold situations. However, here's what I found. if I just draw a 50 line, and I'm looking at the 50 line, whenever the RSI, and I'm usually looking back over the past 7 days, when it is above 50, it is more likely for the stock to go up. And when it is below 50, it is more likely for the stock to go down. However, I realized just relying on one indicator that I get too many false signals. And this is where I thought, you know what? Let's actually add a second indicator. And the second indicator that I really like is the stochastics. So the stochastics indicator is also an oscillator supposedly showing overbought and oversold signals. And I'm using it with the values of 14, 3, and 3, which are the standard values in the same way as RSI. I use it with 7 or 14, doesn't really matter. And I'm doing the exact same thing here. All I do is I draw a 50 line here. And whenever I see that it is above 50, it is more likely for a stock or, I mean, a cryptocurrency. We can take a look at various stocks and cryptocurrencies here in a moment. When it is above 50, it's more likely to go up. When it is below 50, it's more likely to go down. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. What's better than 2 indicators? Better than 2 indicators is 3 indicators. So this is where I was always fascinated with the MACD. The MACD was developed by Gerald Appel. So super interesting indicator. And I'm using the standard values of 26, 12, and 9. So same as Gerald Appel suggested way back in the 70s. And here is what I do. Let me just zoom in a little bit. This way it's easier to see. You see, we have actually the MACD, which is the purple line. So this here is the MACD. And then we have the signal line, which here is the purple line. And whenever I see that the MACD is above the signal line, it means that now it is more likely for a stock to go up. And if the MACD is below the signal line, it's more likely to go down. And here's what I do now. All I do is I see are all 3 indicators lining up. And when these 3 indicators are lining up, meaning that the RSI is above 50 and the stochastics is above 50 and the MACD is above its signal price, then I'm coloring my bars green, because this way I know it is more likely for any market to go up. Now, on the other hand, when I see that all of them are below 50 and the MACD is below its signal line, then I'm coloring it in red, because now it is more likely for a market to go down. Now, no indicator is foolproof. Losses are part of our business as a trader, and we can talk about this in a moment. But as you can see, it is capturing the swings pretty nicely. Now, whenever I see these black bars, this means that only 2 out of the 3, let me just make this differently. There we go. That only 2 out of the 3 indicators are agreeing either to the upside or the downside. So for me, this means indecision. Now, Jeremy, you just talked about cryptocurrency, so you can apply the same thing here to Bitcoin. So if you're looking at Bitcoin, this year was the day on May 12th. So this is May 12th. When Elon Musk tweeted that he will no longer accept Bitcoin as a payment for cars. And you know that this is what sent Bitcoin down. You see, a day later, all of my 3 indicators were basically saying, okay, now it is more likely for Bitcoin to move lower. And right now, if you're looking at Bitcoin, it is still red. I mean, the stochastics right now, if you're zooming in a little bit, so the RSI is at 40, the stochastics is at 32, and we still have the MACD, which is the purple line, below the signal line. It's about to change. So we might see black bars soon here, meaning that this downtrend could be over. But these are the small moves that I like to take advantage of as a trader. What's a popular stock for you? What's a popular stock that you're following?
Look, let's look at Amazon. Let's stick to the big guys for today.
Okay, Amazon. So it's super easy. You see, I don't need to really think a lot about Amazon. Right now, I see it is black bars, meaning that it is more likely for Amazon to just go sideways. I want to wait until I see a green bar that I get a really nice breakout. And then it goes to the upside, or I get red bars and I see that it's going to the downside. So this is how, Jeremy, I identify possible entries. So I can share a few stocks that I'm in right now. So the stocks that I'm in is, for example, CELH. So this is here, Celsius Holding. So they gave me a nice entry signal right here at around 54. And as you can see, the closing price today is 64. So this is a nice move of $10 based on a price of 54. This is around 20%. So these are the kind of moves that I'm looking for. So I'm loving this one. Another one is Plug. So I got into Plug. This is right now not really taking off just yet. But as you can see, a few days ago, it had a green bar. So I entered here around 27.50. Right now, is it at 29.69? So that's around $2 that it moved up. So that's it's $2, not 2%, because $2 based on the entry price here is at around 8% in just a matter of days. So this is what I'm looking for. Is this making sense at all?
100%. So let me ask you a couple of questions. So first of all, the colored bars, looks like that's a Pine script indicator that you either coded yourself or had made for you based on the strategy?
Yeah. Would you like to have this indicator?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's pretty cool. I'd love to have a look on my charts and kind of analyze how I trade alongside it.
Yeah, so if you go to indicators, so I call this strategy here, I call it the Power X strategy. And here's why. Because I'm looking for a crossover of an indicator, right? And a crossover is like an X. And since I was looking for 3 crossovers, at first I wanted to call it the XXX strategy. But then I realized that's probably not a good idea to call it the XXX. So I call it the Power X strategy. And as you can see, I've even written a little book about this where I describe it in detail. Anyhow, beautiful. So if you, let's just remove this. So if you go to indicators here and just search for any indicator, so it would be Power X, you'll see the Power X strategy bar coloring official version comes up. So you can just apply this to your charts. Super easy, custom indicators, not a big deal. So just click on this and it is, as you can see, a public library here. So from Rockwell Trading, so available to anybody who might want to have it. A few have tried to replicate it. These are not as accurate, so I don't know if they are working. So go with the official version. That's the version that I have implemented here, and it's free. So for free. Use it, make money.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with myself and the viewers as well. Sure. My next question is, do you just indiscriminately place your position as soon as you see a green bar or a red bar, or is there a bit more like higher highs, lower lows? You're looking for breakouts before you get in?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I would like to see is that we take out the high of the first green bar, because this is here a trend following strategy. And as a trend following strategy, we want to see momentum. How do we see momentum? When we make constantly higher highs, right? I mean, this is a classical chart reading. So this is where I want to make sure that we are going through the high. So therefore, I'm just looking at the high of the bar and I'm adding 1 cent when I'm trading stocks. And when you're trading Forex, you would add 1 pip, right? Depending on how it is done. But you see, this strategy is pretty universal. You can use it on what is a popular one? Euro versus dollar. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, so when you're looking at the euro versus the dollar, you get the idea. You have a beautiful entry right here. So it's a little bit later. It's not the first green bar. So you can see 1, 2 green bars. We're not going anywhere, but then we're finally breaking out. So there's a nice entry here, and then you can ride it all the way up here. It's also pretty cool when you use this concept. You see that right here, you want to wait for the breakout. So it never happens here. So you never get into the trade. So it helps a little bit eliminating the false signals that you get with any indicator. I mean, I've been trading for a long time. You've been trading for a long time. I have not seen an indicator that is 100% accurate. I don't think it exists. And whoever claims, oh, this indicator, and you will never have a losing trade again. Yeah, right. Pay me $997 right now for this magic indicator. No.
Yeah, reduced from $599, right? $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you another question. The next one is, where do you place your stops once you've taken that breakout trade?
Oh, excellent question. Excellent question. So for the stops, I am using the ADR. That is the average daily range. And I'm using it over the past 7 days. So I want to see how much a stock has moved from the high of the day to the low of the day over the last 7 days. So let me just give you a very specific example. We can just stay on this example here for the euro versus the dollar. I should have the ADR. No, I don't have it right now here as an indicator. So I would have to, well, you know what, we can probably, I'm wondering if I have the average daily range here. I just need to add it. There we go. So here right now, the euro on a daily basis moves, what is it, 614 pips? Does it sound about right? Or is it 61.4 pips? I'm not trading Forex, so I have to ask you.
Yeah, that would be 61.4.
Okay, so it's 61.4. And here's what I like to do. For my stop loss, I like to use 1.5 times this ADR. So if I go 1.5 times 61.40, so this would be, I would probably go with around 90 pips, right? I'm not breaking out a calculator right now, you get the idea. And here is what I'm looking for as a profit target. I also like to work with profit targets. Now, as a profit target, I want to do 3 times the ADR. So this here means 180 pips. Now, here's the beautiful thing, Jeremy. And I mean, you have been a trader for a long time, you know this. If you keep your stop loss smaller than your profit target, you could lose half of your trades and you're still making money. Think about it.
Correct.
If you place 10 trades, right, and out of these 10 trades, you have 5 losses, and these 5 losses is what, 5 times 90, so you would lose 450 pips. But then on the other hand, you have 4 winning trades, and on the 4 winning trades, you make 5 times 180, 900 pips. So okay, now it's getting really colorful here, but you get the idea, right? I mean, it's I just love to draw. I love to draw.
I know, it's beautiful.
So anyhow, so this leaves you with 450 pips, even if you're wrong half of the time. And when you're using this simple trick that I've shown you here, where you're trying to take advantage of momentum, usually you put the odds in your favor. And if you see this, if you can just put the odds in your favor and you're right 60 to 65% of the time, I mean, this is where it'll help you to make consistent profits. And you see, this is the important thing for me as a trader. I mean, I trade for a living. So this is why I want to have SRC profits. And this stands for systematic, right? I mean, not based on a gut feeling. Everybody can get lucky and catch GME, GameStop on the right side. But hey, you also want to make sure that these are repeatable, that I can do this day in and day out. And lastly, for me, it's important that these are consistent, because at the end of the month, I'm wiring out money out of my trading account into my checking account so that I can pay my bills. And if I wouldn't generate these SRC profits, right? I mean, one month, if I catch GameStop or a cryptocurrency on the right swing, right? 1 month I can buy champagne, and the next month I buy sparkling water, if that, or maybe just regular tap water. So for me, it's important to have these SRC profits.
If you don't have it, you might have to go into an art career maybe instead.
Yeah, I need to work on my handwriting. That's for sure. But you see, the beautiful thing is I can quickly erase it, and then you don't see it anymore.
I love the setup. It's really cool. It's really engaging and interactive, and I haven't seen this done before on one of the interviews. So yeah, full credit to you. It's very, very cool. I have more questions for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So my next one is that if this is so almost automatable, have you ever tried to turn this into an automated strategy? And what would be the difference of trading this automated versus trading it manual? And do you think it's possible to automate something that's so regimented in terms of its approach?
So here's what I did. This is a software that I had programmed for myself. It's called the PowerX Optimizer. And what it does is that every single day, it spits out the stocks out of the US market that are meeting my criteria. And this is where I can do the back testing. And you know that back testing can be really powerful. And I can take a look at the P&L here. So this is the P&L chart where I see what would have happened over the past year if I had followed these simple rules trading on this stock. And here we see it's kind of erratic. So not really a nice smooth chart. What I would like to see, and this is why I told you today, I was trading SPCE. I entered it this morning. So this came up on my scanner, gives me my entry signals based on these indicators. And here's what I see. If I had traded Virgin Galactic SPCE over the past 2 years, actually, over the past 2 years, so this is since mid 2019. Here's what would have happened to my P&L. I would have had a nice P&L, and based on a $10,000 account, I would have made around $4,000 based on a $10,000 account. That's not bad at all. So this is where I can go into the trading report and then see every single trade that has occurred. I see how many losses, how many wins, and this helps me make a decision. So Jeremy, to your question, can you automate it? Somewhat, right? Because what I still like to do as a trader, trying to zoom in here, this is where sometimes on the iPad it's a little bit trickier than it is on the desktop. Using my 2 fingers, magic here. Okay, anyhow, so this is where, if for example I take a look at REN, I see that here the P&L chart is not as nice. It's a little bit erratic here. First, it's going sideways, then jumping up, going sideways. So this, for me, it's kind of an art. I don't know, to be honest, how to automate it. And for me, you see, in order to go to the through these stocks every morning, it takes me around 10 minutes, right? Because I can very quickly say, Adam, no. I mean, you see, that's nothing. CalX, what do you think about CalX? Do you like this or not?
Looks smoother to me.
Looks smooth. I tried to enter it this morning. However, what happened to CalX, it never broke above the previous day's high. So this is why I'm not in this trade, but I am in SPCE. Then we can take a look at Futu here, Futu Holdings. Don't know what these guys are doing. Let me just quickly bring it up here. See, it's a little bit all over the place. And therefore, I would say no to this one. IEVVI, not bad, but compared to the others, it's going rather flat here recently, right? So recently, not a whole lot going on. This is why I like the other twos better. But you see, we have spent right now 2 minutes going through this, and I can even ask you right now, do you like this one? If you look at the P&L chart?
No.
No, okay, super easy, right? MOXC, do you like this one?
No. Oh wait, still loading? No.
No, not really, right? Because it's also a little bit all over the place. At first, it is rather flat, then it jumps up, and then it goes flat, jumps up, goes flat. So this is where, with a little bit experience, I mean, within a few minutes, you can go through this, and this makes my life easier. So I have not fully automated it, but I'm also not an automation expert. I tried, and this is where I realized that automated systems usually work for a little bit, and then they fall apart. So this is based on my experience, and I've been using this strategy now for the past probably 9, 10, 11 years, something like this. And it has worked really, really well for me by doing some, you see, this is where I thought it's computer assisted trading. It's not computerized, but it's computer assisted. So makes just my life a little bit easier.
Amazing. Well, look, I love what you've done with that optimizer. That's amazing. I have this kind of like one dashboard that you just jump into in the morning, take 10 minutes, just go, oh yeah, that looks good, that looks good, that doesn't look good. Jump in, place your trades. Look, to me, this has always been like my dream, especially when I first started, was to have something that's so methodological. I don't even know what the word is, too early in the morning.
Well, I would call it systematic.
Systematic, yeah. It's very systematic. You know, you follow, you know what you have to do. It's like, this is what it is. These are the rules. You just follow it day in, day out. It's very cool. So what are people signing up for? Like when you're this open about your system and explaining exactly how it works, and here's the indicator, it's all free. What are people actually getting when they sign up with you guys as a mentor? Or sign up with you?
No, you see, this is where we are offering this software. So this is where as you can see, it's browser-based software, so accessible from anywhere in the world, whether it's Mac and PC. You can access it on your phones, on your tablet. I mean, right now I'm running this here from an iPad, right? So this is an iPad. And this is what we are offering, where we say, you know what, if you think that these indicators are cool and you don't want to go through your own watch list of stocks to find the ones, because you see right now, for the euro versus the dollar, I mean, this move is already gone, right? And now you can can go through stocks. And this was my frustration in the beginning. Before I programmed the software, that I was going through the S&P 500 stocks. That's one of our indices here, and going through 500 stocks, and then okay, this is already over, this is already over, this is already over, right? So this is where I said, okay, there must be an easier way, and that's why I programmed kind of this scanner. And after I had the scanner, I thought, okay, wouldn't it be nice if the scanner also told me that if I had traded according to the rules, what were the trades, right? So this gives me a little bit more confidence in the strategy. And then I also would like to know, okay, what is my buy signal? Based on this, what's the stop loss? What is the profit target?
Beautiful.
Just, you see, to make it easy. And then also tell me the shares. How many shares should I trade based on my account size? And this is where if you have a larger account size, right, you switch it to 100,000. Here you would trade 593 shares. So out of the $100,000 account, you would tie up around $30,000 in buying power, which I think is okay. It's reasonable. You have your stop loss, your profit target. Anyhow, so it just makes my life as a trader a little bit easier. And this is where I think, you see, trading is the game of games, isn't it? I mean, this is where everybody wants to participate, and I don't have to be the smartest trader in the world. That's the good news. I just have to be smarter than the person who's taking the other side of my trade. So, and this is why play every ace. So anything that I can do to make my life easier, that gives me just a small edge, that's enough. I mean, you know it, Jeremy. In the markets, it's not the bulls versus the bears. In the markets, it's the educated versus the uneducated. The ones that have a plan versus the YOLO. That's it. Right?
It's also you versus yourself, right? Which is the whole psychology mindset side of things too. It seems like the only thing you're missing is the actual button that you click when you're happy with how it looks like, to press buy, and automatically sets your stop, places the trade, and you're good to go. But hey, it's nice to do that.
That's coming up in version 2.1, which will be released in 5 weeks from now.
There you go.
We are actually working on this right now, yes.
You've really thought of everything, eh? It's very cool.
Trying to make my life easier. And this is what I do on my channel. I just share what works for me. You see, Jeremy, I would never say, oh, you know what, you need to trade this strategy. If you don't trade this strategy, you will never make any money with trading, and your wife will leave you, and your kids will hate you, and your dog will die or something. No, I mean, this is what I use. I'll be happy to share what works for me. And hey, if you find this helpful, great. And if you say, well, my strategy is better, I would never argue with anybody. It's, hey, are you making money? If so, keep doing what you're doing. If you're losing money, well, take a look at what else is out there that could help you to make money with trading.
Yeah, there's never like one strategy fits all for everybody, right? Everyone's got their own way of doing things, different time frames to work on. If you've got a business to run, then you kind of got to stick to higher time frames. If you like that adrenaline and you can somehow keep your emotions in check, you can trade the 1 minute time frame. I don't recommend it, but there's all different types of traders, right? So
I used to day trade. I'm getting too old for this. I'm now 51 years old, turning 52 this year. So I'm getting too old for day trading. I did this 10, 12 years ago, and now I'm a swing trader. For me, it is more relaxed.
Sure. Well, you've still got a beautiful head of hair on you. So it means that you
so far so good. Don't jinx it. Yeah.
You stop trading the lower time frames. So would you say that this strategy can work pretty much in every kind of marketplace? Or have you ever seen a specific asset they just like, no, this doesn't work at all on this, or charts and it works everywhere?
Well, you see, if you're looking at an asset that doesn't move at all, for example, IBM, right? I mean, IBM usually is a super boring stock that is just going sideways, right? You need to have some asset classes that move. So therefore, the currencies are really good for this because they usually move, right? I mean, cryptocurrencies are pretty good for this because they usually move. And you can absolutely switch to a lower time frame and do this on, for example, a 1 hour chart. It's smaller moves that you're getting there, right? But you're still getting some moves because what is the market doing? Going up, down, or sideways? For me personally, I like to stick to daily charts. And as long as you have a market that is moving, where there's volatility, right? I mean, volatility is a double-edged sword. When you don't know what you're doing, volatility can kill you. When you know what you're doing, it's like, woohoo, let's do this.
Yeah. No, I love it. So tell me a bit about your students. I mean, is this the kind of strategy that you just give to your students? Is there anything that you're looking from your students to make sure that they perform this properly? Or is it as simple as, here you go, here's a strategy, as long as you're real with yourself and you follow the rules? Is there anything else that you kind of teach them to get them being more optimal in trading your system?
That's where I say, if you're interested in these SRC profits, systematic, repeatable, consistent, I'm your kind of guy. If you are looking for something crazy that you have, for example, in GME, where somebody tells you how you can catch a move like this, yeah, I'm probably not your guy. If you're trying to 10x your money within a week, that doesn't work, but I can help you to grow your account systematically. By the way, super interesting, if you're looking at the whole GameStop thing, right, you see that we actually had nice green bars right here at around the 40 level, and you see all the green bars. So you could have traded it. I stayed away from it. I did not trade this. That's not my trading style. So this is where I say, you know what, if that's you, you want to 10x your account within a month, you want to make this 1,000% that somebody is promising, good for you. I mean, I am happy if I'm making between 60 to 90% per year, but I like to make this consistently. And with consistency and money management, you can grow a small account, right? So this is where the main reason is be patient. Based on my experience, trading is a marathon and not a sprint. Everybody 100%. Can get lucky in the markets. Everybody can have the lucky trade. Somebody probably made a lot of money on here. Somebody made a lot of money getting into Dogecoin at the right time. Absolutely. And a lot of people lost a lot of money getting into Dogecoin at the wrong time, right? Sure. So if you looked, because we talked about the cryptocurrencies here, it is definitely a wild ride. But you see, if you're using these indicators, they could have helped you to catch this move. And then again, the second wave here. So it is possible. It is possible. But yeah, don't go crazy. The quickest way to lose all your money is trying to double it.
That's it, 100%. And your biggest losses come after your biggest wins as well. So it's important to have like a more formulaic approach to things. And you were talking about having a small account, you can still make good money. I also like to tell people that if you're starting off with a small account, even if it's, you know, $10,000, say whatever it is, if you just focus on getting consistent returns, like what you're talking about, then if you can get a track record of a couple of years behind you, we've kept your drawdown low and you're making good, you know, good consistent returns. There's people that'll throw money at you. And I'm talking like prop funds, brokers as well. You know, we've allocated money to different clients over the years. Most of them haven't worked out. Unfortunately, there was actually only one out of all of them, which I find super interesting. I don't know if it's, you know, traders going and trading their own money is different to suddenly trading someone else's money. There's a psychological component. But yeah, it's just another thing. So it sounds like you also have another strategy called the wheel strategy from memory.
Oh, yeah. So
do you want to show us a bit about that?
Yeah, there's a different strategy. So what the wheel strategy does is we're selling option premium. So that's super fascinating. For example, on LVS, this is where I'm looking at what price would I like to own the stock. And this is where I'm selling puts. And by selling puts, it means that as long as the stock is just going sideways, if it is going up or even slightly down, as long as it is staying above the strike price, I am just collecting premium. And this is what I like to do with weekly options. So this is almost like a weekly paycheck. So it's a different mentality that you have here with the PowerX strategy. You're looking for an up move, right? Here you're looking for a stock, as you can see, LVS here, that is just going sideways or even slightly down here. So this morning, there were opportunities, for example, in JWN. Nordstrom. So I looked into this because Nordstrom has been trading, if you look at this, pretty sideways ever since they came out of the pandemic. So since December, they have been trading sideways. So this morning there was an opportunity to sell the 30 put. And as you can see right now, it's trading at 34, meaning that as long as it stays above 30, so it can go a little bit down. It can go sideways or it can go up. By Friday, that's 2 days from now, at least in my time zone. For you, it's what, 1 day from now?
Pretty much. We're pretty much, it's
okay.
a weekend already over here.
Yeah, anyhow, this is where I can just keep the premium. Now, when I do get assigned, and this is why I wanted to bring up LVS again. So LVS Las Vegas Sands, one of the casinos here in Las Vegas, as you can see, it dipped below my strike price. So I did get assigned, and now I own here for Las Vegas Sands 1,700 shares. And what I can do right now I can sell call options. And this is why I'm calling it the wheel. First, you sell put options. Then when you're getting assigned, you're selling call options until you're getting called away. So you can get premiums both ways, on the way up and on the way down. So it's a strategy that really creates these, I hated to call it this way because weekly paychecks, right? I mean, we're not talking about a paycheck here, but it allows you to collect weekly premium, and therefore it's a super consistent strategy here. So that's what I like to do with options. With stock trading, I like to trade the PowerX strategy. And when I'm trading options, I like to sell options because this is where you can collect premium. It's almost like writing insurance. Think about it, insurance companies, they make a lot of money. So,
yeah, very nice. So thanks for explaining that. What percentage of your clients stick to the PowerX strategy and what percentage go to the wheel strategy? Or is there a big crossover for both? Because I feel like a lot of retail clients, they're a bit scared of options. They're like, oh, this is way more complex than just buying and selling a CFD.
Yeah.
So
you see, it depends a little bit on your account size. If you have an account size of around $5,000 to $10,000, you need to trade the PowerX strategy to start building your account. In order to really sell option, you need to have a decent amount of money in your account. So you should have at least $20,000 or more. More here is really better when you're selling options because you're selling premium. So this is where some of our customers are saying, you know what, I have a small account that I want to build. Others are saying, I already have a larger account. You know, some people have retirement accounts of 200,000, 300,000, 500,000. I mean, I'm trading a $500,000 account. So therefore, most of my trades are on the wheel. And it's a very fascinating strategy because it has a super high winning percentage. I mean, it's not unusual to have a winning percentage of 98%. And this is, of course, what's attracting many, many traders because they say, oh my gosh, this winning percentage is great. Yeah, you have a lot of small wins, but when you experience a loss, it could be a larger loss or a larger drawdown. So for more consistent profits, probably the PowerX strategy is better. So in terms of our customers, I want to say that probably 75% are trading the wheel strategy in addition to the PowerX strategy. And 25% are trading the PowerX strategy, something like this.
Wow, so it sounds like you're turning a lot of retail traders into option traders at the same time, fighting the good fight.
I love options. I love it. Yeah. I know it sounds sometimes intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. I think most people make trading options way more complicated than it needs to be. They talk about these iron condor and butterflies, and then the really mean things like broken wing butterflies. I mean, it's like holy cannoli. So for me, as you can see, it's just two things that I do here. It's either selling put options or it is selling call options. So nothing magic about this here.
Very nice. Yeah, people should leave the butterflies alone, right? It's always like the butterfly happiness or the bats. So what's in it for the future for you guys and what you're doing?
Just plugging along with trading. I mean, I'm just having a blast with trading. I'm having a blast on my YouTube channel talking about what I do. As you know, I'm trading an account live there. I let people follow along to see that it is possible to make money with trading, because I know that many people are skeptical and say, you can never make money with trading and this is like gambling. And I just want to show them, no, it is possible. However, you're not getting rich overnight. You got to learn a few things, right? I mean, it's like every profession. I mean, it doesn't really matter who you are or what you're doing in your profession. If you had somebody just walk into your office and say, okay, Jeremy, scoot aside. Now I'm taking over your job. And you say, what experience do you have? None. but I'm determined to make a lot of money here. He would say, get out of here. What the heck are you talking about? So
I'd probably give him a go, because when we first started at Global Prime, we had no idea what we were doing either. I was telling you before we started that we started off as traders and then kind of got given the keys to this place. So maybe I would give him the job and say, hey, if we can do it, you can probably work it out. But that's a moot point, I think. So Markus, inside your rooms, is there like one-on-one mentorship? Do you have a place where you're going live with your clients? What does it actually look like for a paying customer?
Yeah, I mean, you said that you have a Discord channel, so I don't offer that. We have a very active community, so we have our own network. We used to have a Facebook group, and then you know how it is, everybody gets distracted on Facebook. So we have created our own community where everybody is very active, super helpful. We're traders helping other traders, especially newer ones. So that's what we do. I do have a private mentorship. I call it a mastermind program. But that's really more for traders who are serious in getting to a point where they can live off their trading in the next 3 years or less. So it's nothing for somebody who has a $10,000 account. So it makes sense that you have maybe a $50,000 account and you say, you know what, I have a good chunk of money here. I want to make sure that I'm not losing it. And I want to grow this to a point when in the next 3 years, I could quit my daytime job and live off what I make with trading. So this is a higher level program that we offer. And I'm very, very picky who I accept in there, because
I can imagine you got to be
several times a week.
You got to be, yeah, you got to be stuck with them, right?
Yeah. No, but I also want to make sure that it is the right people with the right mindset, people who I can really help. And most people I can help, some people I cannot help. I mean, if you're right now trading a $5,000 account and you're telling me I need to make $5,000 by the end of the month, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Maybe there's somebody who can help you. I doubt it. But hey, never say never in the markets. But I'm not the right guy for you.
Sure. So Markus, I think we're getting towards the end. I wanted to ask you, is there anything that you'd like to close off on, or anything that you feel like we've missed out on that people should know about what you do?
No, Jeremy, what I love about you and what you're doing is that you're helping to educate people, right? Because this is the other thing. Often traders think the broker is trading against me. And I mean, you're living proof, not at all. We want to help you because you as a broker are more successful if your customers are more successful and if they're trading larger lot sizes, right? And I think this is why it is fantastic just to unravel these myths that are around that the broker is gunning for your stops or something like this. Are you gunning for anybody's stops who has a 2 lot in the market? Probably not, right? I mean, why would you? So this is why I think I love what you're doing, just providing great education. Because there is no public school system or universities for traders, right? It's all private education that people like you and I are providing. And often it is not easy to find the good guys because unfortunately there's a lot of bad guys out there providing really bad advice or selling stuff that does not work, which is even worse, right?
For sure. So look, I could talk about brokers gunning for stops and some of the stuff that brokers do on the other side with B-books and how they're taking the other side of trades, but it's another thing altogether. We've actually unpacked it over a 10-part series. At Global Prime, we don't take the other side of trade, but the vast majority of brokers unfortunately do. That's another thing altogether. I'm not going to derail this conversation with that, but it's fascinating anyway. But 100%.
But you're linking to this playlist somewhere in the description here, right?
Yeah, we can definitely put it inside there, and we'll link to all your stuff as well. But definitely in this industry, they're either a good guy or a bad guy, and you can see it straight away with whoever's transparent, because then you can poll their community. You can speak to some of the clients that they're working with, and having that layer of transparency really helps clients build trust with a broker or build trust with a trading educator, versus these guys that are just going and putting their empty force statements on LinkedIn or YouTube, whatever it is, saying, hey, join my signal service. That's not what it's about. Trading is about being educated, like exactly what you're saying, and getting to the point where you're thinking on your own 2 feet. You're not relying on someone else to go and make your decisions for you, because what happens if they disappear? Then you're stuck again, right?
Well, you see, Jeremy, this is where I always say trading is a skill, right? I mean, trading is a skill like riding a bicycle or swimming. Nobody can swim for you, right? You have to learn. But once you learn this skill, it's like riding a bicycle. you have a skill for life. And it's not easy. You think back, I mean, when you started learning to ride a bicycle, I mean, did you get on the bicycle and it went right away? No, I mean, you had your trials and tribulations, you fell down, right? And of course, you had probably somebody who helped you learning how to ride the bike. And then in the beginning, you had training wheels, and the training wheels, it's a simulated account, right? I mean, start on a simulator first. These are your training wheels before you do it without. But by all means, whether you learn how to swim or you learn how to ride a bicycle, do it with somebody else. And the same is with trading. It's like acquiring any skill, right? Can you do it just watching a few YouTube videos? Maybe.
Probably not.
The chances are really low.
Yeah, sometimes when you first start trading, it almost feels like you're riding a bike underwater, right? I don't know what's going on behind me, but it looks like these guys are measuring something. I don't know. Maybe they're learning how to trade. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but that's
the monster trades.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You know, if you're feeling like right now as a trader, you feel like you're riding a bike underwater, then reach out to people like Markus and the other people that we're interviewing, and try and find who's a good mentor for you that can help you out in your journey, because it's so hard to work this stuff out on your own. And I think you really fast track things when you're working under the guide of someone. And look, I just want to say you're amazing. You're very animated. I don't know where you get your energy from. I love some of what you're having. I love your setup, the way that you use the pen to, go through things on the iPad. Very, very cool. So yeah, I'd love to keep the lines open with you, and hopefully do this again sometime. And if you're a client or you're a trader listening, then if you want us to have another chat, please put your questions in the video below, and we'll put all the links in to find Markus as well. So Markus, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. You're amazing. You're a legend.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here. Really great. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing.
No worries. Cool. Well, let's do it again sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.